Hello everyone, welcome back to ATBP Gaming again. Today I just want to talk about this because this is an international news and I think all of us are affected. In just a few weeks, gas prices went up a number of times because of the ongoing war in the Middle East. I think it was twice here in my country at least, maybe more. But even if I am not sure, I can clearly feel the effect, you know, because after that, everything started going up, you know, electricity bills, water, food prices. It feels like uh, nothing was left untouched, It is not just one thing becoming expensive, you know, it is everything at the same time. And when you are poor, that kind of change is not small. It affects how you live every single day because before, for example, like me, for myself, I could still manage my budget even if it's a bit difficult. you know I knew what I could afford that time, but now even basic things feels uncertain. You go to buy food and the prices is higher, than the last time. You check your bills, they are higher because they announced that there will be uh, a price hike. You try to plan ahead, but it becomes difficult when prices keep changing by the week. You know, it creates this constant pressure in your mind. You start cutting things that used to feel normal, sometimes even small things, like something you can no longer afford, you know. And public transportation become one of the biggest problems here. You know, transport groups started asking for a fare hike. Uh, and honestly, I understand them because they are the ones who has the lowest minimum wage here. They spend all day driving and they go home with pennies. So I get them. And they are just struggling like me. They are also trying to survive, but when they ask for help, they were ignored. So they organized a protest, a strike. But when that happened, you could easily see how serious the situation is. You know, Jeepney drivers were protesting, trying to be heard, you know, to show that they cannot continue like this. But instead of listening, the response is as usual. The government ordered the police to block the protest because here they will do that, and they will ask for a permit. And to be honest, why there should be a permit? Because you are expressing your struggle, your emotion. So if you are free, you don't need any permit like that, you know, which is crazy to me. And that moment stayed in my mind because instead of solving the problem, it felt like they were just trying to stop people from showing their frustration, And there was this interview of our president because there was like a press conference. A reporter asked him what he can do to at least mitigate the effect on poor people like me. And that guy just smiled and said, "There is nothing he can do." And he left the interview. You know, Useless at all, useless. That's why most of us call that president useless. You know, it's just that uh, there are, it's just that there are more people, more stupid people who voted for him because of his name. And hearing that did not just make me angry, it made me feel tired because if the people in charge are already saying that there is nothing can be done, then what are ordinary people supposed to expect? We are the ones dealing with the consequences every day. We are the ones who find ways to survive, and yet it feels like the response we get is just acceptance. Deal with it. When you look at other countries, especially in neighboring countries like Vietnam, Thailand, they at least try to do something, you know, to help their people. For sure, it is not perfect, but there is an effort, you know, to reduce the impact of this. Here, it feels different. It feels like we are just expected to endure everything, and that is where the frustration really builds. I think, because being poor already means life is not easy. You already have to think about, you know, the money you spend all the time. You already have to balance the needs and expenses carefully. You already have to make sacrifices. Then something like this happens, and it makes everything harder, you know, because there is no buffer, there is no extra, there is no savings. Um, there is nothing to absorb the price increase. So when it goes up, you feel it immediately. And if public transportation becomes more expensive, you either pay more or you stop going out as much. You just have to you just go out, you know, when you need to do something that is important. And if food becomes more expensive, you either buy less or spend more, which is, not an option for me. And if bills increase, you cut something else. It is always a trade, and after a while, it becomes exhausting. Not just, physically, but mentally, because everyday decision becomes about money, even in small things, simple things. Today, I can only buy, you know, half amount of the food that I usually buy with the same amount of money, which is crazy to me. There are also things you start noticing around you. You hear about people stealing fuel, you know, you see rich people panic buying, and when they are being called out by the public because it will make life even harder, they just smirk and blame people for being poor, and they cannot buy what they buy. These are not normal situations, and when you see these things, it makes you realize that this is not just your personal, problem, because it is happening to many people. Everyone is adjusting, everyone is feeling the pressure. And here, the government announces support for the uh, public transportation drivers. It's like a cash assistance, we call it ayuda, but that support does not fill enough, you know, not to mention you hear the corruption in it, people saying instead of getting the full amount, they are just getting only half because the other half will go to the local government captain. You know, some say they cannot get theirs because someone with the same name already got their share. You know, some notices people who should not even get that cash assistance were able to get one because they are buddies with the local government captain. You know, and if they complain, they just being, you know, ignored or worse, threatened to shut up. And that process is very slow, you know, because this assistance cannot reach to the people who need it in time. The prices of everything already went up a number of times before they can get this, but they can do nothing but wait, you know. Uh, but that waiting feels heavier by the day because time matters when you are struggling. Every day without support is another day of loss, another day of stress, of trying to survive with less. And I think what makes this situation harder is not just the increase in prices. It is the feeling that nothing is really being done to ease the burden of the people. It is the feeling of being left out to figure things out on your own. And when you are already tired, you that feeling becomes even heavier. I used to react more strongly to things like this. I used to feel more anger, but now it feels it feels you know uh, like a quiet frustration. You see the problem, you understand it, but you also feel like your voice does not change anything. So instead of shouting, you just continue. You know, you just uh, you just adjust. Again, you find small ways to cope. That is what life feels like right now. It is slowly getting heavier. Every week feels a little more expensive. Every decision feels like a little more difficult, and every day requires a little more effort to maintain the same life. And sometimes I wonder how long this will continue. Will it get better? You know, will the price go down? Will there be real solutions? I do not know. And maybe that is the hardest part because not knowing. But still, you know, we continue. Still having to wake up, go out, and try to make things work because stopping is not an option. Responsibilities do not wait. You know, bills do not wait. Family still needs support. So you have to move forward. And even if you are tired, even if you are frustrated, even if it feels unfair, you just continue, because that is what people like us do. We adapt, we endure, and we survive. And maybe that is the reality. When oil prices go up, it is not just that, it is about everything. And in the end, poor people like me, you know, feel it the most. That is all for now. I know you guys can understand this because this is a worldwide problem, and you also feel the increases of everything. And I think things get will not be better because the war is still going on, and I think it's getting worse. But hey, we have to endure this, and you should not give up. No matter where you are, my friend, I can feel and understand you. You know, we can survive this together. Thank you for watching. That is all for today. I would like to read your thoughts and opinions about this. If you have stories of struggle, I would also like to read this. So please comment it below. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.